Welcome, friends, to the Beaver Dam, and we're giving you some interesting stuff here to double, triple, quadruple, 10 times your Coliseum score. I think this is something that's going to be something we need to pay attention to down the road as well, and we will be talking about the future of this mechanic very, very quickly, so stay tuned to the end of the video, because we have more than just showing this off. Now, this is going to be for those people who are, spending some crystals or are paying, because a lot of us can't afford to do something like this. But if you can bring your IG90 up, this is going to be fantastic, especially for those people who are farther along, like me in the Coliseum, where I've spent quite a bit of money and I'm doing great. It's going to be fantastic. For some of you, this isn't going to affect you that much. It might give you some better rewards. So it's something to think about, and going forward, it's something to think about in current era as well as future eras from now on. Big shout out to Swago Overlord, who brought this to my attention, and I did a little bit of testing, and I'm like, wow, this is really impressive. And what that is the fact that you got to keep in mind when you're doing Coliseum that the leadership ability on each character works for every character. It doesn't matter, they all have the same thing there. If you're playing Magic the Gathering, then they'd all be changelings. When they're in Coliseum, they all share each other's tags. And so I was getting 10 to 17% in tier 4 right in here. And then I did swapped out IG90 for the leadership. And so we'll show you the difference here, right now, for how I almost pooped myself. And so, of course, I have to have an IG90 that's similar in level to my Luke or better in level than my Luke, because if we're using a low-level IG90, not only is the leadership ability going to be lower, but also just it's going to weaken the allies that you have on your team as well. And so for Luke's leadership, you're getting 10% crit chance and crit damage, max health and max protection. A lot of this other stuff is helpful, except that a lot of it relies on you using his team specifically, and like things like stealth, which isn't as common when you're using his kit with other people that aren't, Han and Leia and that type of stuff. And so, we hit the mass assist and we get 10% right there, right? And I'm like, dang, that's pretty good, right? Well, if you look at IG90's leadership ability, yes, we're just going to waste that attempt right there out of the gate. If we look at IG90's leadership ability, 30% crit chance and crit damage, and damage is everything in the Coliseum. And so this may be different for other bosses, but for the Temple Guardians, I about pooped myself earlier, because I was sitting here and I was like, oh yeah, we'll see if this does any good, right? And so we'll get our turn with the wonderful Luke. Same guy, same mass assist. 34%. Like, what? Like, oh my gosh, dude, there he goes, he's gone. And with the Temple Guardians, it's based on how many hits you hit them when they don't have armor, is how much they like ramp up their damage for one turn. And so if you can just blitz someone down like that, boom, you're done. And now at this point, we just kind of like spread the damage a bit and like keep it going. We'll still deal damage, but we're gonna wait until we have like another mass assist going, and we can just kind of keep hitting them, get their armor low, get some good damage out there, because we're dealing some good damage with these teams. Like, look at how much damage we're already knocked him down. He's already pretty far down. And so, like, yeah, let's try and go for that kill. Sweet. We're down another person. Now we just need Luke to come up with his mass assist again, and we can be able to take down the last person. Like, crazy how much damage this deals. Now, this being said, we got to keep this in mind for the future as well. Future-proofing our things. Damage is everything in the Coliseum. We're seeing that right here, right now. Is there a better lead coming in this area? In this era of characters? Because we're getting a lot of different leads. Most eras this will not be as effective, because we'll be looking at like a pirate era, for instance, that we just had. There's only so many pirate leads, and so it'll just depend. We might get one non-legendary pirate lead or one non-legendary X faction lead that's going to be for that era. So this might not be super helpful in a lot of cases, but in other eras, this could be just insanely helpful. We'll see, basically. So I think it'll just really depend era to era, but this era, there is another one, and we'll go through it as soon as I finish with this run. I want to see if I can get that 100%. The only reason I didn't have 100% earlier is because I paused and quit, because I was like, I'm going to show this on stream. I've never beaten tier 4 on that one, and now I'm at tier 5. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, try this out. Now, as for, and this is like the stuff that I need. This is the stuff that I need for my level to go up right now. So IG90, if you can afford it, might be the key to pushing you up. Now, I have heard some people try this out and say, I didn't really get any extra value out of this. Like Gerbil mentioned that earlier today in a message to me, that he didn't get much value out of this. I don't know what Gerbil's stuff is at currently. I doubt he whaled for anything, so this might be not as important the lower you are. And that being said, like, you know, if we go into his leadership ability, if you won't have a very low level 1, it's 15% crit chance and crit damage. That's about the same as getting it for Luke. But if you have it high level, it's a 30% crit chance and crit damage, which is much better. And so, you know, the trade-off of the max health and max protection might be a little bit more important in these lower levels, and so it kind of mitigates how much it actually helps. But in the end levels, it's going to help quite a bit. So keep that in mind. It might not be the most helpful for you, but if you're spending crystals, getting your IG90 up, keeping up with your Luke, that type of thing, this could be game breaking. This could be fantastic for you to do inside your Coliseum. Now, there is a better lead, and we're going to talk about it for just a moment, because, you know, why not talk about it? Now, the unfortunate part is this lead isn't like a we're getting it now kind of thing. This is one of the last characters coming inside this era. We are looking at, because not a lot of these guys have leadership abilities. If I recall correctly, only 3 of them have leadership abilities. We have 2 of them. No, 4 of them have leadership abilities. We have 2 of them, so we have half the leadership abilities. One of them is pretty worthless in our current character set, but there's one that looks real beautiful, and that's going to be our Bareris one. So with our Bareris, she has this ability that we're already seeing called Disciple. And so she'll be able to use her first special and give Disciple to someone, which is going to be very, very important. So Disciple gets 15 speed and immune to ability block. That's not as important as everything else she does. If we go over to her leadership ability, at the start of the battle, all bounty hunter allies gain critical chance up and offense up for 2 turns. The first 2 turns that your allies are around are usually the most important in Coliseum, and crit chance up and offense up are each a 50% bonus versus the 30% you're getting from IG90. While this is temporary, that temporary is going to push you a long way. So I think this leadership already is looking really good. But then on top of that, if we're looking at the contract that she has, while an ally with Disciple is active, attack out of turn 10 times. Her first turn, she puts Disciple on an ally. And then Luke uses his mass assist, and they all count. And so they're all mass assisting. Boom, you now have 5 towards your contract. Every time IG90 gets hit, he is going to be counterattacking. On top of that, like every ability that Bareris does calls her ally with Disciple to assist. If she uses her second special, it'll call him twice. This is going to be very easy to hit. The reward, all bounty hunter allies have 50% defense penetration until the encounter. Sweet. More damage, right? Damage immunity for bounty hunter allies reviving. I honestly haven't looked at this kit to see how they revive, because I just didn't. I was just interested in the damage. So maybe there's something in here that's going to help even more. But that being said, on top of that, the payout right here that you're also going to have access to, Ventress gains 100% crit damage. More damage. Momentum, not going to worry about it. An extra turn for all of your allies. 100% turn meter to all of the Disciple allies. So you're going to get an extra turn on some people. You're going to get some more damage on a Asajj Ventress. You're going to get a lot of stuff here. A lot of good damage in here that looks really, really good. Whenever an ally with Disciples damage, Ventress gains 10% offense stacking until the next time she uses her basic on her turn. Like, you know, whenever Ventress starts her turn, allies with Disciple gain 10% turn meter. We're seeing a ton in here that could really reshape our Coliseum experience. It's interesting to know. And so I want you guys to keep in mind that this is going to be gate locked behind levels heavily, just like we just talked about the IG90 leadership. The IG90 leadership is going to be transformative to those who are willing to spend crystals, for those who are willing to spend money especially. But for a lot of you guys, it's just going to be like, oh, that's cool. It does basically the same thing as Luke, if you're like sitting there with like a 15 to 18 Luke. It hasn't changed my stance personally, because I don't know, like for you guys, maybe the Coliseum is everything and you're pushing in the Coliseum. The Coliseum doesn't feel good to me. I'm trying to get the most out of Luke. I'm trying to get the most out of Vader, because that's what my free-to-play account can use. And so I'm going to keep pushing into them. IG90 really doesn't give me anything, and I just do not have the currency, nor can I make that currency, because like on my main account, I'm able to make that currency. I'm already done with the episode track. I paid for the pass, and I already am done with the episode track. Everything is just going straight back into getting the end of the episode pass, which is 2,000 of this every time we hit it. And so I'm getting plenty here. But on my free-to-play account, I'm going to hit the end of the 50 towards the end of the episode. So I'm not really going to get much of this era level currency anytime soon. And I can't afford the crystals to spend on the era. So I have not changed my opinion whatsoever on leveling up IG90. I'm still throwing all of that on Luke. I'm still pushing my Luke up. My Luke's now at level 18. Well, it should be going up to 19 tomorrow. Still doing great, even though I haven't touched my IG90 at all. It's just a slow and steady climb, essentially, as you go up a level and beat the next tier and just kind of keep going up like that. But you know, maybe it's going to be different for you. Maybe, you know, I don't know. If I push my IG90 up to level 15 when I got all the materials for IG90, I'd be stuck in the same place, because I might have pushed my damage higher, but now I don't have the currency and I have to spend crystals. It's a catch-22. It's the same thing with like, you know, you spend money on you know, getting characters up to gear 13, you now have to spend more money getting them into the relic levels. You now have to spend more money on getting Zetas. You know, like, just spending money in the game, spending crystals in the game, a lot of the times, it just leads to more spending. And that's kind of the downside there. So if you have the extra crystals, try this out. If you can get them up high enough, which we can take a look right now, just as we close out this video, we can take a look at the era levels and see at what point this becomes actually viable. Let's see. So we got an upgrade there, an upgrade there, an upgrade there. So yeah, it looks like about, let's see, there's 5, 10, 15, level 15 to level 25 is probably the point where you're going to start seeing a better use of IG90. And then once you start getting into 35, it's going to be a very obvious, and 45, it's going to be a very obvious shift for IG90 being much better. So, as I said, you know, some of you, this might not affect you at all. Others, this is going to be transformative. So, hop into the Coliseum. See how far you can go with the IG90 lead. You have 5 tries in Coliseum. It's worth trying. And especially with these Zetho guys, I mean, if you can gun down one person, you can do a ton in here. The problem is, if you don't gun down that one person and you use the mass assist on Luke, you can end up just harming yourself overall. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it helps. Yeah, I don't know if it really changes my opinion on free-to-play and, you know, no spending players. But for you guys who are up there or you're spending crystals, once again, transformative, dude. I'm in tier 5. Was not expecting to get to tier 5 at all.